when you're the best player in the world and no one cares. Let's see what this is.
What do you call a player who is averaging 34, 9, and 10 a game on 62% true shooting? The face of the NBA? The best basketball player in the world? How about the player who is 4th on the NBA?
Man, look at Luca's numbers, bro. Look at his fucking numbers. And this is playing with Kyrie. This is with Kyrie, a player who needs the ball. Look at this shit, bro. Look at it.
NBA's MVP leaderboard at the moment. 10 years ago, these numbers would have had a player in conversations as the greatest basketball player ever, let alone the MVP for a season. But now this stat line hardly even earns you a shot to become the league's most valuable player. Lately, I've been paying close attention to how the MVP race is playing out this season, and it's going about how you would expect.
Please don't get me started with Shea.
How the MVP race is playing out this season, and it's going about.
Please don't let me start ranting about Shea. Please, okay? Let me ask you something, bro. When we talk about all these players, when we talk about Jokic, Luca, who else is in the MVP race? Joel, whatever, right? When we talk about, oh, yo, like, what do their highlights look like? Like, they got some nice-ass highlights. They got some good-ass highlight reels, bro. Jalen Brunson, who's not even in the... You know what I mean? What are Shea's highlights, dude? The guy's a free throw merchant, all right? He literally just drives into the lane and flails his arms. And what else does he do, dude? Like, if you watch him score, he scores in the easiest ways. Like, he'll just have like an open layup or something, or just shoot like a mid-range. Dude, just don't get me started with him, bro, please. Please. Like, it's just gonna annoy me, and I'm just gonna get mad. And don't talk about defense either. Like, just please, bro.
How you would expect. The season started out with Jokic leading the race, coming off a very controversial decision last season. Then Joel Embiid morphed into a basketball god for 2 months and buried all hopes of anyone else winning the award. And then he got hurt.
Yeah. Joel Embiid was having one of the best seasons ever, bro. Literally ever. I'm talking about not just a big, but just anyone. And then he got fucking hurt, dude.
And Jokic jumped back out in front and has held the top spot ever since, with currently SGA in second and...
First of all, Jason Tatum, get out of the top 5, bro. You do not... You should be nowhere near the top 5, okay? Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. There are plenty of players that are on teams that have worse records that are... Dude, Jalen Brunson is more deserving than Tatum, bro. Do you want to know why? Let's talk about most valuable player. You take Tatum off the Celtics, that's still a good team. You take Brunson off the Knicks, they're fucking garbage. All right? He carries them, bro. And we can go on about this. LeBron is more valuable to the Lakers than Tatum is to the Celtics, bro. Okay? We can go on about this. Please. Get Tatum the fuck out of the top 5. Why is he in it? And why the fuck is he above Luca? He's never been close to as good as Luca at basketball. Ever. Ever. Stop this shit. And bro, Luca is better than Giannis, bro. He's better than him. I don't give a fuck.
Giannis in third. But as I was going over the timeline of the race this season, one thing jumped out at me. Why is Luca Dončić so low? I'm going back and looking at some of his performances and his...
Dude, I watched this game with Raph and Jake, bro. We watched this dude score 73, and guess what? Who talks about it, bro? Who the fuck talks about it? Dude, I swear, dude, I think Luca's like hated on, bro. I think Luca's like hated on. A guy named I Love Crack just said, shut the fuck up, you racist. When did I become racist in this conversation? When did I talk about anybody's race? Oh, I get it. Because I'm defending Luca, who's white, right? That's cool, bro. So I'm a racist now, bro, because Luca is white. So if Luca was black, it would be different. It would be different. I wouldn't be a racist. I would... Dude, do you understand that in itself is racist, right? Do you understand that you're racist for saying that? For you to bring up race, you're the racist. This is what racist people don't understand. They expose themselves time and time again. I see it on Twitter every day. There's dead-ass racist people who expose themselves, say the most racist shit, and then people are in the comments like, yo, you're literally racist. And they think that they're the ones that are, like, fighting the racists, bro. No, you're fucking racist, dude. You're literally racist. And the same dude who's called me MAGA because I literally am defending Luca, you're fucking beyond... That's beyond racist, bro. That's beyond racist. I'm sorry, bro. Dude, people throw the word racist around way too much. Way too much. Call me fucking racist, bro.
Numbers from the season, and yep.
I'm a January 6er? Ban that guy! Ban him!
They're still completely unreal. So why...
Let's look at these numbers, bro. He had a 73-point game this season so far.
Isn't his numbers from the season, and...
He's averaging a 35-point triple-double since the All-Star break, which has been 2 months, 3 months, right?
Yep, they're still completely unreal.
41, 9, and 11.
So why is he all the way in 4th place at the moment? Have voters gone on a Luca strike? They all just collectively decided they're not going to vote for him? I don't know, maybe his play style is just too polarizing to reward. His game right now is often compared to prime James Harden, and we all know how that turned out. But even Harden and all of his antics still won an MVP award. On the NBA's last weekly recap of the race, it seems they've taken a strong stance on his chances of winning the award up to this point. Sorry, Mavs fans, but the standings matter. We understand he scored 25 plus points in 9 straight games. But flashy highlights and massive numbers aside, Dončić needs to lift Dallas out of play-in tournament territory to climb near the top of this list. But that isn't true, is it? In fact, I know it's not, because other players have won just as many games as Luca is winning this season, with worse numbers and less individual dominance, and they still went on to win the MVP. Luca Dončić is being held to a higher standard than anyone else right now. And I think we might be looking at the MVP award and how we value players all wrong.
I'm going to say this. This season in the NBA is one of the best NBA seasons ever overall. Every single team is good. Except for the bottom, I'd say probably 6 teams in the league. I'd say the top 22 teams are good. Literally. There's no couple teams where you're like, fuck, man, they're winning it all. Like, there's really not. Every team could lose. Every team. Like, everyone. So, I think that's a factor, like, with the standings and shit. Like, the Lakers, for instance, right? Finally, they haven't been injured. Well, LeBron and AD haven't been injured. A lot of their other players have been injured this season for many, many games, and they still haven't gotten a lot of players back. But you would think that they'd be have a better, be better in the standings than last year. Dude, they have a better record than last year, but they're still lower in the standings because every team is good. Literally, bro. Every team is good. When I say good, like, every team is decent. Then there's, like, teams that are, you know what I mean? But, there's been so many NBA seasons, dude. If anyone who's been watching long enough knows, how many NBA seasons have there been where you're like, all right, it's either this team, or this team winning? And then also how many NBA seasons has it been where it's like, all right, either one of these 2 teams is winning? Like, this happens more than this happens, dude. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, hell no! Ha ha!
By the immediately. When Luca Dončić first entered the league in 2018, he immediately leapfrogged all the assumptions we had about his game and his potential. By his second season, his 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists a game earned him first-team All-NBA and a 4th place finish in the MVP voting at just 21 years old. By the end of his second season, the general perception was that this guy was the future of the NBA. An MVP award was inevitable, and it would happen sooner than later. But Luka is now in his 6th season in the league, and despite getting better nearly every single season, his place on the MVP leaderboard has only fallen virtually every season. Voters seeming to become less and less interested in this Luka magic.
It's so insane, bro, because literally his numbers have gotten better every year. Like, I'll literally... Hold on, wait. Go like this. Look at his numbers, bro. Like, dude, guys, this is fucking insanity, these numbers, dude. These are insane numbers. Last year, 2023, they didn't make the playoffs, but the team was so bad, bro. Like, his team around him was fucking terrible. And even this year, they're not good. They're, like, all right. Like, the team around him is, like, okay, bro. He really carries them. And Kyrie is having an amazing season. Kyrie's having a great season this year. And he's still 4th on the MVP.
How did Luka's best case for the most valuable player in the NBA come in just his 2nd season and has only gone downhill since? Are we looking at the MVP award all wrong? Is it even possible for someone to be the most valuable player in the NBA while not elevating their team to a title contender? A question not applying to just Luka, but to any player in general. Where exactly is the balance between individual dominance and team success when evaluating the top talents in the NBA? If the Nuggets ran into some injuries and had a tough stretch of games and somehow fell to the 7th seed, would we be...
It's so crazy how much the NBA is like narrative, bro. It's just crazy, dude, because, like, for instance, like, KD is not going to be in the top 5. Like, they're not going to put him in there. They're not going to put LeBron in there. They're not going to put, Curry in there. It just doesn't make sense. Like, they're just I don't know, bro. I just feel like... they're really trying to push agendas. Like, they're really trying to push the Shea, the Tatum, like, and the reason is, it's because these are the young players in the NBA. You know? This is why. It doesn't help the NBA LeBron winning an MVP or fucking... You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't help.
Be willing to admit that Nikola Jokic is still the best and most valuable player in the league despite the lack of team success? Is it possible to get voter fatigue or even...
Oh, no. Listen. Before I play this, bro, I'm just going to say this. If the Mavs were the number 1 seed, Luka would be the MVP like locked. Like locked. MVP. Locked. It's his team is the reason that he's not right now.
Player fatigue before a player has even won anything? Here's a number for you. 41.8. This is the number you get if you combine the average points, rebounds, and assists per game of every MVP winner over the last 30 years. This season, Luka is averaging 53.2 combined points, rebounds, and assists. The highest combined total since Kareem over 50 years ago in 1972. And putting up numbers like this usually results in winning games and winning an MVP. Most of the players near the top of this list have earned the award for their efforts. Kareem missed out on the award in 1973, but he already won back-to-back MVPs in the previous 2 seasons. James Harden came in second in 2019, but he already won the award in the previous season as well. Luka, on the other hand, seems to be suffering from a rare case of voter fatigue before winning any awards.
Like, bro, these are better seasons, like averages, than Jokic's MVP season, bro. Like, what? And I'm pretty sure Jokic didn't finish in the 1 seed. I'm pretty sure.
Raising the bar to first-team All-NBA in just your sophomore season means every year after that must be even better if you really want to captivate an audience. And Luka has gotten better every single season. So maybe he's just not winning enough games. The unwritten rule about the MVP award has always been that you not only need to be great, but your team needs to be great. But this isn't always the case. In fact, recently, it's hardly the case, and voters have not shied away from rewarding exceptional seasons, even if it didn't result in overall team success. In 1987, after just over 2 seasons in the league, Michael Jordan finished second in MVP voting ahead of generational talents and vets of the 80s, despite closing the season with a record below 500 and finishing the season on a stretch of 15 losses in 23 games. He was young, he was unproven, and yet voters were still so enamored by his individual dominance that they just looked past the lack of team success. One argument you can make for this season is the fact that it happened nearly 40 years ago in a league where numbers like this were unheard of. But a similar case of crazy numbers and individual performance outweighing overall team performance just happened again a couple seasons ago. In 2022, Nikola Jokic won the league MVP after finishing the season with just 48 wins.
Dude, the Mavs had a better record.
And the 6th seed in the West. His numbers were incredible, and his advanced metrics were even better. In fact, he was so good that the lackluster 48-win total was a bit of an afterthought for many voters. The only thing is, this season, the Mavericks are on pace to winning 48 games as well. And as loaded as Jokic's stat line was in that 2022 MVP campaign, Luka's numbers are just about as good this season. So how does one of these seasons earn a player his 2nd consecutive MVP, and the other hardly even earn a player a spot on the MVP leaderboard? But I think the most glaring case of a player winning over voters with a historic individual season was back in 2017, when Russell Westbrook lit the whole league on fire for 81 games and averaged a 30-point triple-double for an entire season. This was just 7 years ago, and it's already easy to forget just how inconceivable this was.
This was a crazy-ass season, bro, for Westbrook, and they finished, I think, the 6th seed. But let's be real about the narrative shit too, though. Like, KD abandoned him. Westbrook's on his own. You know, has the ball in his hand 90% of the time. Yes, he gets a triple double. Then he gets MVP.
Was at the time. There is not a person on earth who thought a player could average a triple-double for an entire season. So when Westbrook pulled it off, the MVP award had his name on it, and rightfully so. But the Thunder finished with the 6th seed and just 47 wins. In fact, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard both had strong cases to be the most valuable player in the league that season. So again,
47 wins and MVP that's crazy, bro. And then Jokic 48 wins and MVP, like that's crazy.
Again, what has changed between then and now? How did we go from being so captivated with a stat line like this to just casually brushing aside a similar season in just 7 years? But Westbrook's triple-double season in 2017 didn't just shatter our ideas of what were possible from an individual player. His season completely altered the way MVP voting works altogether. Up until Westbrook's 2017 season, the MVP award was virtually the best player on the best team award. If your team wasn't the 1st seed or on occasion the 2nd seed going into the playoffs, your chances of winning the award were almost non-existent. From 1988 to 2016, 23 of 29 regular season MVPs.
Hold on, let me move my camera.
Went to players who led their team to the best record in their conference. 5 of the 29 MVPs went to players who earned the 2nd seed, and only 1 went to a player who didn't lead their team to a top 2 seed. But with Westbrook's MVP in 2017, voters of the award, and fans in general, almost recalibrated the way they approached the discussion of who the most valuable player in the league can be and what is required of them. because 4 of the last 7 MVPs finished the season with the 3rd seed or lower. This season, Jokic is favored to win the award, and the Nuggets are on pace to finishing the season with the 3rd seed as well. Something that only occurred once in 37 seasons and required the best player of all time to put up the best individual season of his career is about to happen for the 5th time in just 8 years.
So I guess the MVP award is actually becoming what it was supposed to be for all these years. All these years we've seen people get snubbed. Kobe in 2005 or 2006. You could make an argument for LeBron for literally, I'm not even kidding, every single season from about 2000, I'd say 2008 or 9, until probably about 2020. LeBron should have had at least half of those MVPs. If we're not going off of narratives or voter fatigue. LeBron, minimum, from 2009 to 2019, should at least have half. Be real, bruh. He was the best player in the league, hands down. That's not... Bro, be real, bro. And that's being conservative. He should have half of the MVPs. He probably should have more. Dude, Jordan had 6. The NBA fucking loved Jordan.
It's almost as if overnight we all realized that...
Or Jordan had 5, I mean.
Winning the most games is not the end-all be-all to what makes a player the most valuable. 10 years ago, an NBA fan posted this on Reddit, and reading it is almost like jumping into a time machine and traveling into the past. He goes on to list the last 30 MVP winners and the seed they earned going into the playoffs, recognizing the correlation between winning the most games and winning the MVP. And he posted this with a note at the end that tells you everything you need to know about how the award worked just 10 years ago. I put this on here so people hopefully stop making unlikely MVP predictions. No, Anthony Davis is not going to lead the Pelicans to the 5th seed and win MVP. And the comments on this thread are just as insightful as the post itself. So is it really an MVP award? In theory, yes, but maybe it's more of a best player on the best team. Players do not win MVPs getting 6th seeds, overwhelming majority of the time, because this is a superstar league and superstars get top seeds. And this fan is right. Or at least he was 10 years ago. So why did we make exceptions for other players and continue to do so, but we hold Luka to such a strict standard? If the Mavs went on a nice stretch of wins to close out the season and finished with, let's say, 53 wins instead of 48, finished with the 4th seed instead of the 6th, would that really help Luka's case? The Mavs could have an easy schedule to close out the season. Kyrie could go on a tear. The team could get into a rhythm and earn a higher seed, and Luka could be playing at the same level he did all season. But since they're winning more games, none of which had anything to do with Luka playing better, he would miraculously have a better case for the MVP? I know this is how it works. This is the nature of this award. But it's still a bit odd that there is so much weight put into some factors when considering who the most valuable player in the league is. And the season Luka is having in particular is shining a massive light on this irrational way of going about this. Is Jason Tatum more valuable than Luka this season? You could make the argument, and I'm sure there's a...
Who could make this argument, bro, besides Celtics fans who have beer stains on their shirt, bro? Please tell me, who's making this argument, bro?
A lot of people who would, including the NBA's MVP leaderboard. And yet, Luka has been more valuable this season according to virtually every single metric other than win totals. Jason Tatum has missed 5 games this season, and in those games, the Celtics have outscored their opponents by 77 points. This season, Luka has missed 8 games, and in those games, the Mavericks have been outscored by 47 points. When Jason Tatum isn't on the court, the Celtics are plus 10.1 points per 100 possessions this season. When Luka isn't on the court, the Mavericks are minus 2.8.
Guys, and a guy just said you have zero ball knowledge, bro. Oh, no, okay, sorry, I take that back. He was saying that to the people who said Tatum's more valuable. My fault. Bro, chat, I literally said this, bro. And anyone who really knows this, okay? I said this shit. Plus 77 without Tatum.
8 points per 100 possessions this season. When Tatum isn't on the court, the Celtics are still really good. When Luca isn't on the court, the Mavericks are terrible. To look at how many wins a team has as the driving factor for the MVP race neglects how teams even got those wins and how much the best player on that team is contributing to those wins. Now, this season might actually be a case of the league getting a whole lot better, or maybe just the stats getting better, rather than voters and fans appreciating different aspects of the game.
Hey, real quick.
Or maybe just the stats getting better, rather.
What's going on with Halliburton, bro? Shout out to LeBron, shout out to the Lakers, they won tonight. What's good with Halliburton lately? I was looking at the stats. He had 6 points going into the fourth quarter. What, is he injured? Like, you know, because, dude, he used to be an automatic 25 and 10. He's an industry plant. I just want to just say that this is, LeBron is 39 years old, and it's his 21st season. These are his stats. He's averaging 26 points, 7.2 rebounds, 8 assists per game. 26, 7, and 8, bro. He is shooting 42% from 3. It's unbelievable, bro. So, this is his season right now. He's shooting 53% from the field. He's shooting 41% from 3. And he's shooting 75% from the line, which is actually, for him, that's pretty good.
Than voters and fans appreciating different aspects of the game and its players than they did in the past. The threshold for what it takes to make, let's say, an All-NBA team, earn the label of superstar, and win the league's MVP has been raised so high that a player could have a one-of-one, unprecedented season and not even get a mention as one of the league's best players. A great case of this is Domantas Sabonis, who is averaging 20 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists a game right now, and he wasn't even selected as an All-Star.
Damn. What the fuck? Okay, shit.
This season. These are not empty stats. He's not a product of the system he plays in. He is a certified star. But since there's a guy in the league who can do all of this and more, he ends...
The thing is, dude, he doesn't take cool Instagram pictures. He's got no aura, bro. Alright? And what happens when you have no aura in the NBA? What happens, dude? Nobody cares about you. No one cares. You don't have a Maybach. Bro, whoever said Jokic is a back-to-back MVP and a champion, bro. The dude's got aura, bro. I don't even care if he walks in wearing a fucking, like, the most nerdy shit ever. Somehow Jokic has aura.
Ends up being unjustly labeled as the watered-down version of Nikola Jokic. It feels a bit surreal that we live in a time where a player like Luca Dončić exists, with numbers like these, and the MVP award isn't already boxed up and on the way to his house as we speak. And this realization is less about Luca and more about the big picture of the league right now. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around how much things have changed, and even harder to grasp how quickly they have changed. How can he be this good and still be trailing behind multiple other players?
Because the NBA is so fucking talented right now. That is why, bro. That is why. Dude, you gotta understand. When I was growing up, like, a team would have like 1, maybe 2 good players. And the rest of your players they couldn't even do shit that those 2 players could do. I mean, literally they couldn't do it. Right now, a random role player, if you just gave him starters minutes, he could come in and score 40 points, bro. That was not happening 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It wasn't. It wasn't. Dude, Tim Hardaway Jr. right tomorrow could score 40 points if he got hot. There was no role player doing that when in 2008, bro. They weren't doing that shit. Cam Thomas, that's a good one right there. He could score 40. No one will even talk about it. Meanwhile, bro, if you scored 40 points 15 years ago, dude, you were all over fucking ESPN. There was fucking crazy shit. Dude, now it's like, okay, yeah, you scored 40. Who cares? Literally. 40 is who cares. 50 is like, yo, all right, good game. 60 is where people start to be like, yo, what the fuck?
If it wasn't for Embiid getting hurt, Luka could very well not even be within the top 5 on the MVP leaderboard, while averaging nearly a 34-point triple-double and being on pace for 48 wins. Which begs the question, what would a player in Luka's position need to do to win the MVP? With the 6th seed, an underwhelming supporting cast, and a handful of generational superstars to contend with, what would be the equivalent to the 2017 Westbrook triple-double season in 2024? Where the numbers are just too absurd to ignore. 30.
I like that this guy just said this comment, and the only way that you would even say this is if you have been watching basketball for a while, right? Because there's a lot of casuals who maybe are new to the game, or maybe started watching, Steph Curry can shoot threes, right? This guy said, Chad is so dumb, there's no defense because everyone can shoot threes, making it hard to guard. You got to understand, bro. When everyone can shoot, and I'm including centers, right? When everyone can shoot, do you understand how hard that is for the defense? You can't just pack people in and bait people to drive and whatever, right? You can't do that. There's so much space that it's impossible. What are you going to do? You just got to score more than them.
Eight, 10 and 10, maybe.
There's a reason why nowadays games don't end 86-84. That's not a real score, dude. There used to be games, I'm not kidding, bro, and this might sound crazy to the younger people because I'm 29. Probably about 10, 15 years ago, a game could end and you could win with 70 points. You could win in the 70s. Now, dude, the Lakers scored 150 points tonight. Okay? The Lakers scored 150. I'll say this too. Bro, look at this. The Pacers scored 145 points and lost. Dude, if you scored 110 points in 2009, you were considered like a fucking fast-paced run and gun, like... Dude, now any team in the NBA, any team can score over 100 points. Any team. There used to be teams that could never score over 100, bro. I guarantee you, if you look back, there are teams 10 years ago that went the whole season without scoring 100. Now, every single team can score 100. The worst team in the NBA can score over 100. The worst team.
40 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists a night on league-high efficiency? It sounds like hyperbole, but it's not. How good do you have to be to win the MVP in today's NBA? When you put the bar as high as Luka did at such a young age, how much higher would you need to go for it to be impossible for fans and voters to ignore your efforts? Or is the MVP award still just the...
You would think a 35-point triple-double would be like, yeah, you're gonna win it, but no, it's just not. It's like, it's not, dude. They're just not.
Best player on the best team award.
I also think Luka's attitude is another reason why people are turned off by him. I do think that too. I think he comes off to certain people who aren't fans of him, like as like cocky and like you know, he's complaining and crying and bitching and you know what I mean, like, so it's very easy to not like him. It's very easy to dislike him. You know what I mean?